Well,
which
yeah,
is amazing.
relatively.
It's relatively free. You know, there's a lot of time and energy that goes behind it. But you know, if I want to find a blog on how to knit sweaters, there is somebody out there who has a blog on knitting sweaters or how to take care of tomatoes.
Probably 50 people, right?
You know, I know somebody who started from scratch. Within just a couple weeks, he had 6,000 regular visitors to his site on growing tomatoes. Pick this really niche-y little thing,
right?
And you know, just exploded overnight, and that's just recently, within the last couple months.
Right. Well,
there's still those opportunities.
It's about striking a conversation with someone, and for businesses, it's about creating a dialogue with their clients. And what's very different about social media, which I think makes it different from traditional media, you know, television and print and radio, broadcast, things like that. Social media has this tendency to be very real in how it comes across. It's very genuine conversation. You're going to go to these sites and you're going to find typographical errors and very little marketing speak
and
pictures, and they're not even good pictures, right? And the video's kind of poor, but it's telling a real story. It's like you're talking to a neighbor across the fence in the backyard. It's very real, and I think that genuine nature of the communication that takes place in those settings is also driving business communication. There's a trend right now that we're seeing, not just seeing, I mean it's everywhere, just moving quickly away from the metaphorical communication that used to drive our industry, where you try and come up with some really witty, slick way to communicate about something. You know what? No one wants to hear that anymore.
That applies to everybody.
Right.
We want this ad to fit the 8 million people that we serve.
Right. They're immune to that now, and they're using social media to reach out directly and get the very small vertical group of people that they want to get their message. You know, they communicate directly with them in a way that really resonates with that
What do you
audience.
see going on with companies? I mean, that's a huge shift. You know, I know some companies have their own blogs and they're interacting. You know, we have GM blog. We have other, you know, blogs where the heads of these companies are interacting, or somebody from the company with a fairly well-known name will be interacting with people. That's a huge mind shift to having an individual conversation about somebody who's criticizing or, you know, or praising something you're doing at your company, and then letting the whole world see that conversation. How's that go with the people that you're working with, or what you're seeing in the industry? Because that's a different mindset. A lot of companies, they want to have that wall between them and the client or the prospect.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a different thing to start getting personal about things.
Right.
How do you work with people?
Well, one is to be really good in order to mix it up in a dialogue like that and not come out damaged. However, I do recommend to clients, say, you know what, people are having this conversation. Why not be a part of it? They're still going to talk about it.
Right.
Why not put yourself in the middle and make yourself a part of the solution, as opposed to separating yourself from them and making yourself a part of the problem?
And being the thing talked about.
That's
as
right.
well, because it's different from being in the conversation, a part of it.
That's right. What that does is it makes you approachable, it makes you genuine, and you create a real dialogue with that person. That's what this is all about, creating dialogue with your consumers.
What do you think, like, when you speak of brand equity, how do you think this is really influencing that and the goodwill? I mean, this is something, I mean, it's a touchy-feely thing. Can they really monetize this, or, you know, quantify this rather, the effect that getting into the trenches, so to speak, with their customers or prospects, how that's influencing the value of the brand of the company?
Well, I think in some cases, engaging in online activities can have a real tangible effect on your brand all by itself. But in other cases, for a lot of companies who really, the nature of their business is not that it's an online sort of business, I think of it more as the glue between the other elements of their brand campaign. It's sort of the piece that ties everything together. It's where you catch a lot of people with very specific interests, and then you can redirect them to other areas and move them through the sales funnel, which is the way that you develop business. So there's a lot of ways that the internet and social networking can be used. One needs to think about the business development process within their business and understand where it fits in, and then build what it is you need in order to drive people through that phase of the sales cycle. So businesses can use these technologies lots of different ways, I guess, is an answer to your question.
Do you think that with that, you know, communicating, whether it's putting videos on YouTube or having the blog conversations, or even having even an open forum where somebody can call in, or you're doing chat back and forth with the CFO or CEO of a company, How do you feel like that's affecting innovation in the company? Do you think things are happening faster because they're getting more ideas more quickly from people as opposed to using just strictly their own R&D team? I mean, what's the impact on innovation? I mean, that's got to be a big topic in the branding world.
Yeah, innovation is. It's funny.
And how people are driving the direction.
Right. Well, what's happening is it's making it possible. It's sort of flattening out the organizational structure of the business. It's making it possible for anyone in the organization to let their genius be known, and it's making it possible for the organization to find the genius within that organization. And what it's doing is providing access at all levels. So normally you have a hierarchy within an organization which is very sort of pyramidal in nature, and this one mashes it all up and creates this sort of spherical thing where all the different pieces can touch each other. So companies that really engage in this, I think, are getting a lot more out of their employees, and innovation there is going to be a lot higher. And so anytime you have an ability to express yourself and have that widely viewed by people, you know, crazy things can happen. And you see that all over YouTube right now.
Can we talk a little bit about YouTube?
Sure.
Why don't you tell us what YouTube is for
right.
people who might not know what it is, and how you see companies using it?
YouTube is a huge clearinghouse and search engine for video content. And what people do is they film video, and YouTube has a system where you can upload it to their search engine, basically, and keyword it the way you want it keyworded, and syndicate it out there for other people.
And anybody can do this, right?
Anybody can do this.
Right.
If you've got a handy cam and the ability to get that onto your computer, then you can post a video on YouTube. And you'd be amazed at the creativity and the ingenuity that goes into making some of these videos, even by kids. So it's become this huge central location for storing video, and they make it possible to link that video to other places. And so something that might have existed on your Handycam and a tape right now could, you know, tomorrow get 5 million views on YouTube.
Are any of your clients using YouTube?
They are, in fact.
They are.
Yeah, it's really neat. And if people go to our website, they can get links to different companies that, you know, we've helped to actually use this technology. But the concept is that again, that social media and YouTube, we try and use it for business in creating a dialogue with customers. So what do you have to do to create a dialogue? You have to understand what they want to hear about, and you have to be very real, and you have to just sort of get down, you call it in the trenches, and have that conversation with them, and deal with the good and the bad, and do it in a very real way, like we're talking right here, right now. And so we help clients identify what it is important to the audience that they want to talk to, and then we create something which is, you know, in some cases video-based, and sometimes it's a podcast, sometimes it's a blog. It all depends on what the medium is. But for YouTube, video-based, syndicate it through YouTube and link it back through their blogs and through other community sites that they're involved in. A lot of companies are going on to Facebook and creating things there, and we're linking the video into their Facebook sites. So,
you know, with that video, it's not just taking a commercial that would be shown on television and reproducing it and sticking it on YouTube. They're doing different things with it, right?
They are.
And they're not necessarily always professional looking. They're not all sanitized like they are if they're being shown on the television media.
Yeah, and in fact, an example would be an HR firm that we work with. What they do with this video is, you know, they're trying to attract staff, and people.
So to hire people.
That's right. People are trying. They make decisions on where to work. It's an emotional decision. It's not always just about the money and the job description. And in order to be right, in order to be competitive in terms of drawing in new employees, they need to present the culture in a way which is appealing to them. Mm-hmm. Well, I have to now I'm telling a story about the culture of a firm. How do you do that? That's not marketing. That's real. That's something very different. It's network-centric marketing. It's blogging. It's creating these crazy videos that sort of sell the feeling of what it is they do. We think of it as the brand. It's the experience of being there.